Welcome to English class. Today we have another poem from the poetry section of our textbook, and today's poem is An Evening Wet with Rain. An Evening Wet with Rain is a poem by Ved Paldeep, a Dogri poet. The poem was originally written in Dogri language and it was translated into English from Dogri by Shivnath. Today we will discuss about the poem and the summary of the poem. Dear students, let's focus. Let's focus on what is going to be taught. The poem, let we have an introduction about the poem. The poem An Evening Wet with Rain is a beautiful poem, and the poet talks about an evening wet with rain. It is an atmosphere of complete silence and calmness. The poet sketches numberless images from nature to broaden the effects of silence and loneliness. The poet seems to be depressed, perhaps because of despair that has darkened the evening of his life. The poet remembers his childhood when he stood alone in courtyard, listening to music of Sambol. He regrets the days gone by do not return. Actually, what the poem is all about, the poem is about an evening wet with rain. The poet actually is trying to explain the time of his lifespan where he is in an evening that is wet with rain, and that everywhere is silence, calmness, and he has sketched numerous images from the nature to let these silence and loneliness go away. The poet seems also depressed when we read the poem. It looks that the poet is depressed by the darkness of the evening. By the time that is gone, he remembers his childhood when he used to stand alone in the courtyard and listening to the musical ensemble. He regrets the time which has gone. Bygone time cannot be returned, and it will not return, and that he is worried about. Now let we have a look at the summary of the poem. In this first part of the video, we will discuss about the summary of the poem, and in the next class, inshallah, we will be dealing with the poem stanza wise. The poem An Evening Wet with Rain has been written by Ved Paldeep. I already told you in the introduction of the video that this poem was originally written by Ved Paldeep, and it was translated by Dogri author Shivnath. It was written by Ved Pal in Dogri language, and later it was translated by Shivnath in English. In this poem, the poet recollects the evening wet with rain. It's an environment of complete quietness. जो शायर है वो एक बारिश वाली शाम की बात करता है इस पोएम में, उस शाम की मेमोरीज़ को याद करता है, और यहाँ पे पोएट जो है उस वक्त की बात करता है जब बारिश हो रही थी और वो वक्त जो था वहाँ पे बिल्कुल खामोशी छाई हुई थी, खामोशी तारी हो गई थी, वहाँ पे कोई किसी किस्म की चहल पहल नहीं थी। वो वक्त याद कर रहा है पोएम में। ये समरी बता रहा हूँ मैं आपको। द पोइट इज स्ट्रॉलिंग डाउन द पैथ एंड एवरीथिंग इज वेट। पोइट जो है वो अपने रास्ते पे चल रहा है, अपने रास्ते पे पैदल चल रहा है, और वहाँ पे बारिश की वजह से हर एक चीज़ जो है वो गीली हो चुकी है। द विंटर इज़ एक्सट्रीमली ब्लीक एंड sorry, the writer is extremely bleak and alone. He needs the company of his beloved. जो राइटर है वो पूरी तरह से गीला हो चुका है और पूरी तरह से वो बिल्कुल अकेला पड़ा हुआ है, और यहाँ पे वो अपने साथी को, अपने हमसफ़र को साथ में होने के लिए कह रहा है कि मेरा हमसफ़र मेरे साथ होना चाहिए। He feels depleted and discouraged, for he has lost all expectations at night of his life. यहाँ पे वो डिप्रेस्ड भी है, वो डिस्करेज्ड भी है राइटर। क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे उसकी ज़िंदगी की जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं वो पूरी नहीं हो रही। डियर स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पे एक बात जो आपने ज़रूरी समझनी है वो है इवनिंग। यहाँ पे इवनिंग वेट विद रेन जब कहा गया तो इवनिंग क्या है? इवनिंग सिंबलाइजेस हिज ओल्ड एज। When a person takes birth, when a person comes into life, when a person burns, that day is and can be symbolized as the dawn or the morning of life. Then life goes on like a day goes, and in the evening sun sets. Like sunsets in the old age, people die. Slowly, they become weaker day by day, and evening in this poem is symbolized with the old age, which ultimately leads to sunset, which ultimately leads to death. Because of this sorrow and reserved quality, he cannot appreciate the magnificence of nature. The reviving new rain, cool winds of twist, move of banyan leaves do not appeal him any longer now. जो बुढ़ापे में उसको दुख है, उस दुख की वजह से वो कुदरत की कुदरत के जो अनमोल चीज़ें हैं उनको एंजॉय नहीं कर पा रहा है, उनको साथ लेके नहीं चल पा रहा है। उसके लिए वो बेमाने जैसी हो गई हैं चीज़ें। और शाम की जो बारिश है, ठंडी हवाओं के झोंके हैं, और बनियान ट्री के दरख्तों के जो पत्ते हैं वो उसके दिल को बिल्कुल भी बहला नहीं रहे हैं। अब उसको बहलाने की चीज़ें ये नहीं रही हैं। which generally used to charm and excite him. जब जवानी थी, जब सेहत में था, तो तब ये सारी चीज़ें जो मैंने गिनाई, ये सारी चीज़ें उसके लिए माने रखती थी, उसको खुश रखने के में अपना रोल अदा करती थी। The poet just watches quiet all over the place. अब पोइट जो है वो बिल्कुल खामोश हो गया, खामोशी से चीज़ों को देख रहा है। ही इज़ फीलिंग हैप्पी इन हिज आइज। इट कुड बी बिकॉज ऑफ स्लीप और फीवर। वो अपनी आंखों पे भारीपन महसूस कर रहा है। ये नींद की वजह से भी हो सकता है, और ये बुखार की वजह से भी हो सकता है। तो मैं आपको एक बार फिर बता दूं कि ये पोएम जो है An evening wet with rain, unlike many other poems in your textbook, Tulip series textbook, this poem is a bit larger, and it will take us at least two more classes to complete this poem. Let me tell you again that this poem, An Evening Wet with Rain, is not only explaining us about an evening where it rains. The poet actually is comparing the things I told you earlier. The poem, this poem, the poet actually is trying to explain the span of his life, which he has spent. Good days have gone, and he is now in old age, and he's talking about that evening, that old age, which has taken away all the charms of life, and he has nothing to enjoy, and that everything that we get to amuse ourselves has become silent for the poet. So this is suffice for the day. This is all about the summary of the poem and introduction of the poem. In the next class, inshallah, we will be continuing with the line by line and stanza wise explanation of the poem. Thank you.